My guest today has built an AI agent that runs her morning. It reads her emails, brief her on every meeting that she has coming up, and tells her exactly what she needs to know before her day even gets started. And by the end of this conversation with her, I'm building one too. Her name is Vicky Smith. 20 years in corporate America as a business analyst and then project manager. She left in 2022. And now she runs an operation consultancy company for 7 to 8 figure brands, including a travel company where she helped them automate and cut their team from 8 to 2. And this was without any single layoff. This was by fixing their system and looking at their data. And so today we are talking about her journey, why she thinks business should be boring, and the AI agent that she's building for herself and her clients right now. If you're a coach trying to figure out which systems are worth building this year, this is the conversation you want to listen to. Vicky, welcome to Coaches Who Get Paid. Vicky, talk about where you were before you started the Vicky Smith company. What was your life like before?
I was a lifelong ITer. I knew from a very early age. I was programming in BASIC, and I went into corporate as a business analyst. And I did that for quite a long time. What I loved about it, it was like you were able to go into a business, see what problem they had, and figure out how to translate that into requirements and technical documentation, making businesses more efficient. And I loved it from day one. I grew in that role. I was doing IT project management, and I did love what I do. It was always a challenge. I'm a problem solver. I love trying to figure things out. And that was my job, to figure out businesses and how to help them run better. I did that for a long time, but then had a family. I got married, I had children, and work wasn't as fulfilling because it didn't feel like it was for us anymore. My career was mine when I was doing it, but once I had a family, I'm like, okay, what am I creating for us? And that's when the entrepreneurial bug hit me, right? And it was around 2018. And I'm like, let me dabble and see what I can do. And I started building websites. Why? I don't know, right? It was a cool thing. I knew I could do it. And I sold a few. But then after a while, after a few websites, you realize that the people I was working with, yeah, you have a front end website, but the back end, they had nothing. And I'm like, we can easily fix this. I know how to fix this. And so I started working with some female business owners. At the time, I was working with spiritpreneurs and coaches. I started helping them with automation, understanding how their specific business ran and helping them implement systems and automation and tools just to make it easier. I realized it doesn't have to be difficult coming from corporate. Running a business should be simple and second nature in a way. There shouldn't be a lot of surprises, right? Every time something happens, you shouldn't have to figure out what's going on. Businesses should be boring, right? I was helping them with their systems, and it was just me. I was delivering everything. I'm at the point now where I'm growing and scaling my business, growing a team, having experts on the team that can support you. It's a natural progression, right? I started off in corporate, multi-billion dollar organizations, and then I moved down to people who are starting their business, and I'm working my way back up, right? That business chain in my own power and my own strength and my own methodology.
What gave you the courage? When I hear the story, it feels I realized this was not sustainable for me and my family. And then I started my business. And now I'm working my way back up to working with multi-million dollar businesses. And business should be boring, and mine is boring. And I automate everything. So for the woman watching, she might be like, something is completely wrong with me because I am nervous. I have doubts. I don't know if it's going to work. It feels risky. It feels scary. And so, Vicky, if you go back to that, making the decision to even jump into this world of entrepreneurship, was there fear there? Was there doubt? How did you overcome it?
There, every new challenge, there's fear, right? I saw other women starting their businesses and starting to post video and going live. And that still to this day is a thing for me, right? That's very scary. but seeing other, especially Black women, do it. And I'm like, okay, and getting support, right? All along my journey, I was never shy about hiring coaches. And I would find somebody who embodied what I wanted to embody. I think it's practicing for who you're becoming, right? I worked with you, right? I saw something in you that I was like, you know what? I can present that. Let me practice this energy and be in this energy. That's really what it was all about. And so every coach I've had was like, I was embodying, right? I don't even want to say a different version of me. It was just practicing an energy that I wasn't used to, right? Embodying something that I wasn't used to.
What was that moment where you were like, oh, holy, I just made more here with one conversation than these folks pay me? Do you remember the moment, your first big client? How much was it, if you don't mind sharing? And how did you feel?
I actually had quit my job already. I saw the money
Okay.
coming in, I saw the potential, and I had left my job in June 2022. And it was early March. The largest check I received at one time was 30,000. And I was like, okay, I understand now.
You were
I
like,
understand.
30K,
I
even if
understand.
you're making six figure, for most people, it takes them, by the time you take out taxes and da and all the things, even if you're bringing in 8K a month, you're talking 3 months and a half to four
A
months.
quarter. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
a
covered a
quarter of the
quarter.
year. You get it 30,000. Did you have a $30,000 offer already prepared? When you were leaving corporate America, did you have a 30K offer?
I did not. When I left corporate, I was selling VIP days. VIP days got me out of corporate, but those were lucrative, right? Because that at that point, that was still $5,000, right?
In one
And
day. How
so
long were your VIP days?
it was a 6 hour day. It was broken up. We did a pre-call for
Mm-hmm.
planning, and then implementation was a 6 hour day on Zoom, right? And I worked my way up to that. I worked my way
Still,
up.
Vicky, because the idea for a lot of Black women, who is my audience, that you could translate what you were already doing. You didn't go get another certification. You didn't, you just took what you were doing in corporate America, package it for the marketplace, and translated it in something that was paying you so much more than you were making in corporate America. $5,000 on a Saturday. Uh,
in a day.
hello.
And what I did was because I didn't like working weekends. So I took a pay cut. I changed my shift to work 4 days a week. And on Tuesdays, I was delivering VIP days. And really, two of those a month covered my full-time job.
Yes.
It only took a few months of that happening for me to realize, okay, if I'm doing this
Oh,
in one day a week, right?
do
Like
the
what's really
math.
possible? That's what allowed
Yes.
me to make that jump.
When 30K hits your account, what does your husband say? Because I love the husband reaction, because
Put
that's
it away, put it
unfiltered.
away.
Move it out of the account just in case it
Get
changes.
it out of there.
Ah, that's incredible. Okay. And that was years ago, guys. So her rates, this is not talking about what it is. So you don't have to book a consultation. This is 3 years ago rates. That's not today's rate at all. So just FYI. But this is to show, I like to talk number, Vicky, because it's to show women what is possible. What is like, oh,
Mhm.
there's money, you can make money, but what are we talking about? We're talking real money that you can generate. And at the time, was it just you still? Because that was like 6, 7 months out of you working full time for
Yeah,
yourself. Was it
still
just you?
myself, still just me.
Wow, wow. Okay.
Profit margins are great over here.
So let's talk about the methodology there, right? Because there are people who think your advantage is that you have automation. And so you get to keep everything else lean, because probably somebody else doing what you do will need 20, 30 people to be able to run. Somebody chasing emails, did you do the proposal, what's going on, what's happening, and all these different things. But because you have automation, you are able to automate a lot of the work. And that's what I wanted to talk about, was the importance of having the right automation for your
Hmm.
business. Is that something that only people in corporate America, only the millionaires need to worry about? Or do you feel like any and everybody?
No, automation is like the icing on the cake because that is a result of having clean data. The biggest companies in the world, it's all about the data. And data allows you to have really cool automations. And for a long time, I talked a lot about automation, but that's just like the pretty thing. It's the data behind it, is having the structure, understanding, having a centralized place where all of your business information goes. And once you have that, you can automate anything, absolutely anything imaginable. And so that when I look at building systems, I always start with data and process. What apps are we using? What are all of the steps that are happening in the business? And what is all the data that's collected along the way? And how does it all connect? What are the relationships? Right. And then from that, you can clearly see possibilities for automation and using artificial intelligence in a really thoughtful way. Right. That's not just, hey, first name. Right. You can do some really cool things when you start with data, have the right processes, then you build the automations to no end, really.
I think as a business owner, there are two things that matter to us: how to make more money and how to save money. That's it. If it's not aligned, you don't have a business. People think, especially when they're new, that's cute, but how does that help me make money? Do you have an example of when automation and data help businesses actually make money or save money?
I can think of a recent client. It was a travel company. They had tons of data and it was scattered. You had people using spreadsheets or using Airtable, using different tools to do the same job. You had a team of 7 people necessary because there was so much manual things going on. We came in, we started with centralizing the data, making sure everybody was working from the same true information and automating the data collection. They're at the point now, it naturally happened. It wasn't a layoff, people left the organization, to the point where it took 2 people to go from 7 full-time to 2 full-time, managing the same amount of work, if not a little bit more, right? And for there not to be any loss in quality, right? In fact, improving quality.
No, that's incredible. Data changes everything. And sometimes what you think is true and what is true is not the same. I see you shaking your head. I talk to a lot of business owners where you're like, oh, are you making money? Oh, yeah, I'm making money. Okay. Money hits your account, but are you profitable? And they can't quite tell you because it's in the data, right? Because it's, oh, I just spent this and I have all these apps. I don't even know what's going out. I don't know. I'm so busy chasing fires after fires that I can't even sit back and be strategic about what I'm doing. And that's the power of data. But even for people that are just starting their business, if you're running ads, the data in the back end, which is why I tell folks, hire somebody that knows what they're doing when it comes to ads so they can study the data for you. I've seen so many people, I've done it, where it's like, oh no, I'm gonna cancel this ad because it looks like the click-through rate is high. But the click-through rate is high, but these are the people that convert and make you the money. But if it's not the thing you're used to seeing, you go with one piece of the data, one piece of the information, and you make changes that you shouldn't make. Have you seen that happen?
Yeah, understanding profitability. At the end of the day, I'll quote Mike McAllowitz, profit first, right? We're making decisions blind as business owners, not like we're guessing, right? And every time we want to know something in our business, we shouldn't have to search for it, right? As a CEO, there's comfort in trusting your data and trusting your decisions, right?
So I want to shift gear and talk a little bit about AI. It's the elephant in the room. I don't know if it's an elephant or if it's the room at this point. And it's so funny, a little backstory. When ChatGPT first came out, it feels like a lifetime, but I think it's been 2 years. When it came out, I was homeschooling. I'm still homeschooling. According to YouTube, less than 3% of you watching are actually subscribed. So if you're getting value from this channel, hit that subscribe button right now. It's free, it takes 1 second, and it keeps me making these videos for you. And I was in the homeschooling group, mom group, and I was saying to them, like, how do you think ChatGPT and AI is going to change the way we do education? I'm starting to use it and leverage it to create lesson plans for my kids. And do you know I was crucified? I think they almost took me out of the group.
Wow.
How dare you? You are giving your data and your children information. That's to tell you how new it was. Now it sounds crazy and ridiculous because we are doing it. We are using it. But at the time, these moms were like, what is that? It's the enemy and all these different things. And I was like, wait and watch. Wait and watch. Because there's no getting away from this. Is going to change the world, good, bad, or indifferent, is going to change the world. And so talk to me a little bit about how you feel about AI. Are you pro, con, concerned? What's your overall kind of thought around?
I'm definitely pro AI. I've been on board day one, understanding what is possible and seeing how much it's evolved over the last 3 years and how quickly you're able to move now. With any good, there's a little bit of bad. People are going to misuse it. But one of the things I hear people say is AI is the great equalizer. And I think yes and no, right? I can see it, you can get work done quickly, but what's so important with AI is the thinking behind it and how it's being used and being intentional about data. What are you telling it? What are you teaching it? What are you training it on is so important. But I'm 1000% pro AI. Everything I do now, my thought is, okay, how is AI going to do this for me later? Right? I think of my work very differently now.
That's important. I love that you came back to the word data. And for people that are not in IT, the word data can feel scary. It can feel very, oh, data. What does that mean? But we all have data. Do people even use, hey, do you have data on this guy? Meaning, what are the specs? What's the information? What do you know? And there's a difference between getting back the information that he's 44. That's data. But in reality, and you make all these plans with this man and you can visualize yourself, and then you realize, no, actually he's that's data. Just like a change in the data changes everything. Now that's a silly example. Thinking, oh yeah, we've sold 70% to women when really 70% to men. It changes everything. So the word data, I know it can feel scary. It can feel like, oh, I don't really need it because I'm new. You need data. You need data on the business, but you also need data on yourself. You need to know what your strengths are, what they are not. And I think part of the reason, Vicky, why people hire you is when they are clear on their own data. Listen, I'm good at this, that, the other, but when it comes to this other thing, that's not my strength, or I don't have the bandwidth. It could be your strength, but as you grow your business, I would rather have somebody that I trust, somebody that I understand, go ahead and work this data because it's the heartbeat. It really is the heartbeat of your business.
It absolutely is. It's almost like finances. People are just as weary of letting people into their operation as they are with their money because it's very personal,
It's very
right?
simple.
You see it all.
I
And
can lie that I've made $1 billion and then the data is gonna tell you the truth. You haven't made a sale in 6 months. What's going on? It
right,
tells you everything.
it's very personal. And so there is a level of trust. I think people are comforted when they work with me.
What do you
It's
think
just
that is?
because I don't judge, because I get it, right? I'm a business owner too, and I get it. Growing a business is the journey that will grow you, right? And I am not going to judge anybody along the way because I know how hard it is, right? It's hard as in doing things not in your comfort zone, becoming more of who you were before. That is the hard part.
Yeah. No, that's true. Amen. Let the church say amen. Every business owner that's listening to you, I used to tell my husband about a year and a half ago became a full-time entrepreneur. He was in IT. And a year and a half ago he became, and it's added a new we don't even have to talk. I just look at him like, we don't, because what's understood does not need to be explained. Listen, you have to grow or die. There's no in the middle. You gotta figure out how. If entrepreneurs were honest, the number of time that they've looked at their resume because the math was not mathing and saying, how do I shift my whole LinkedIn? Because I've been out here saying I'm a coach. Would they hire me with my current LinkedIn or would I have to? Like the number of time that you've looked at the business and said, oh God, if you don't show up, I don't know what we're going to. Any entrepreneur that has been in business for a long time has had those thoughts, gets it, And understand that you're just gonna have to show up every time when AI shows up. It rocked my world, it rocked the coaching industry because we didn't know, because I can build an agent and just do it. And so people had to pivot. I remember somebody that I know that was a copywriter, she had to pivot completely. But that's the journey as a business owner. And so for people that are watching that are like, it's kind of working for me with the type of data I have. I want you to prepare for today. I want you to think about in 10 years when they're trying to acquire you. We've not even talked about that. But when they try to acquire you, what you mean is spreadsheets. At that point, it is so late. The best time to clean it up is today. Okay,
Wow.
what's going on? The best time to clean it up is today. If you can start it right from the beginning, even better. But today's the best time to do it. It's not too late. Do it now. Do it before you ever think you need to. Because by the time you need it, because you are trying to apply to be on Shark Tank, or you try now you're stressing Vicky. Because now we got this clock and now she's gonna double her rate. Okay, good.
Yeah, I like that.
Tell me something super cool that you are using AI for, whether in your personal life or with your clients, that most people maybe are not using or doing. Give us a little something.
One of the most useful things is my chief of staff. My chief of staff every morning goes through my emails. My chief of staff goes through my Slack messages and all my channels. My chief of staff looks at my calendar for the day. My chief of staff looks at my stats from my website from the day before and pulls that in and sends me a brief every single morning that I love. It prepares me for my day. It gives me news that's relevant to my business and to AI and to what's going on. I love my chief of staff.
You just give us like that's incredible. Chief of staff agent. That's really cool because it combines all the different things and keeps
Yeah.
you organized, like what an administrative assistant would have done. I like that, and I
Exactly.
like the
But
chief of
at
staff title.
insight and the level, it has all the data, right? Like
So
it
it
has everything it
knows.
needs and everything is organized in a way where I can use it and I can trust it. When I get my brief in the morning, I trust that it's giving me the right information.
Wow, that's so powerful. So many business owners, if they had the right data, that would be so helpful. I'm thinking I'm going to also feed my chief of staff my monthly cycle. So he can say to me, it's your luteal phase. Your calendar is to book, or don't book nothing else.
That is so cool.
Chill.
And that is absolutely, it matters. It absolutely makes a difference.
Listen, the 3 days before, everybody can get it. Listen, everybody in this house
I almost got into it at the gym the other day. I was like, let me leave right here.
preparing for a speaking engagement next week in the UK. So I'm already prepping. I'm going to need my teas because I don't know what I'm going to tell these people. Somebody shouldn't even ask me. I think I'm myself, but most no filter. So if
Mhm.
you ask me, if you come to me with, I've been thinking about starting a business for 10 years, normal me is I understand, right? There must be something standing in your way.
You just gave me the best idea.
Really?
Oh my God, I'm
The
so
people
excited about
know.
implementing this.
Okay, are we gonna share with the people? You're gonna
Oh,
tell me after
yeah,
this. Okay,
because it's
what's the
like
idea?
I use Airtable a lot, right?
Yeah.
I create bases. I have a brand base that has like all my messaging and
Mhm,
content and all of
mhm.
the things that are brand related.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
have a leads base for everything for sales and outreach and all
Mhm.
of those things. And I'm like, what if I had a base on me? Like all of my personal information and have it, I could have my cycle in one table or something like
Yes.
creating a Vicki Base,
Yes.
integrating that into my work, into my chief of staff. That would be pretty awesome.
That would be so dope. There's a lady that I watched her video and she said she gave this, I can't ever remember the framework. It starts with a K. It's a Japanese framework that helps you figure out your life vision.
Oh,
Yes. And so what I did when I was building my agents, I've now built 7, but where I started it from was with that, getting to that first. And when I was
mhm.
able to get to that first, now everything else I could build around it because it was connected. And so it's almost kind of what you're saying around if I'm the heartbeat of the thing, I gotta be included in the thing. You gotta understand me because otherwise that data could be for anybody's business. It's me. I'm the heart and the soul. So if you don't get me as the heart and soul, you're building a cool thing, but is it for me though? Yeah.
I love that.
Okay, good.
I'm
Yeah,
really
keep me
excited.
posted.
As soon as I get off, I'm gonna be like,
Keep me posted on all that. Keep me posted. Guys, if you haven't read In the Flow by Alisa something, Alisa Vita or something, but she talks about building your life around your cycles. Vicky, have you read that book?
I'm not familiar with her work. No.
Really, like life-changing book. When I work with clients one-on-one, I make them read it now. All my female clients, because she tells you what activities to do during what time, what not. Especially as entrepreneur, we get to do that. When I start my coaching calls, I ask them, where are we in the cycle? Because I get a different woman. I had a client who, when she was her follicular ovulation phase, she'll be like, oh, I can do a 30-day life challenge. We put it on the calendar. Her 2 weeks later, it's a few days before her period. How is it going and things? Oh no, I'm not, I have fears around visibility. And so if you don't understand that as a coach, you start making decisions based on something that's hormones, girl, she'll be back. And so having that self-awareness, when I can say to her, take the 3 days off, we'll talk on Monday, you'll be back, has been a game changer for my clients and for me too. Because otherwise you can feel like something is wrong with you. Because why can't I keep going and grind all the time? Why do I sometimes feel like I make commitment? Girl, yeah, we're gonna go out, we're gonna turn up. And I didn't look at my calendar.
No thanks.
I don't know who that girl was that made the commitment. She's not here. She does not live here anymore. So anyway, but thank you for surfacing that. And it would be cool to see implementing that into our AI agents and see how that improves our lives. Okay. As we get ready to close, I have a question for you. So I know we worked together 5 years ago. And what I would love to hear is, what did we get right? And what did you have to learn after our time working together?
I think understanding the importance of having a methodology and having a framework, right? Something that is unique and sets you apart. Because everyone is talking about AI, everyone is talking about automation now, but figuring out what's unique about what you do is very important. It's a critical step, right? Like having your own methodology, but then also understanding your niche, right? And not being afraid to pick a niche, right? I know it's not the correct way to say it, but the riches are in the niches. I think I've heard people say, right? You have to be okay saying, I don't help everybody.
So niching down, creating your own framework so that you stand out in the marketplace were two things that you feel you got right 5 years ago. What are two additional things that you've had to learn over the past 5 years that you want to share with the audience that they can take from it?
What else have I learned? Your business isn't fighting you, it's reflecting you. And that's the premise of my book, The Business Within. It's how your systems mirror your personal growth and shape your success. Because your business is you. Your business is a reflection of you as the CEO. And not thinking of it as information, as data, as, okay, what is it showing me? What is the best next step? Right. So I think just to be kinder and gentler with myself, see myself a little bit gentler.
Yeah.
That's a big piece because we can be hard on ourselves as entrepreneurs.
Yes. Because there's always something you can do. There's always another mountain to climb. There's no finished line. If you're an overachiever, business loves you. It's going to eat you for breakfast. So you want more things to do? There's always something. I love what you said around being gentle with ourselves and knowing that we're doing something that takes so much courage. My final question is, if you can remember you 5 years ago, because there's a version of you exactly where you were 5 years ago watching us. She's watching this conversation saying, 3 days before my period, don't call me. And I have to report at work. What are you guys talking about? What's going on? And she's watching this and she wants this life. She wants $30,000 payday. And she's Vicky 5 years ago that was maybe not sure. What do you know now that you didn't know then that you can share with the audience that's going to help them in making the step to entrepreneurship if that's what they want?
What do I know now? That there's no one right way to do it, right? There's no exact formula, right? Because It was very difficult for me when I was trying to build my business like everyone else's or like a specific person, right? It never really worked. It wasn't until I was okay saying, okay, this is what I want. This is how I want it to be, right? And trusting that was okay, right? Even though it didn't look like somebody else's. Right. So you don't have to fit anyone else's mold, right? Just be you. You can build something that's uniquely you and that is at the bottom line profitable.
Trust your own data. Do an assessment of yourself. Trust your
Yeah.
data that you're pretty cool. Because there's some things you can't change. It's okay. I guess I'm 5'4", or I guess I'm 50, or I guess I'm 60 years old. That's the data. So what do I do about it? How do I want to face that? How do I want to take that into consideration versus hiding from it? So Vicky, thank you so much for joining us here today. How would the good folks watching us find you?
You can find me at .co and also on LinkedIn, Vicky Smith.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what's your biggest takeaway from today's episode. And Vicky, thank you so much for joining. I can't wait to see what's in store for you. You're doing amazing things. So I really can't wait to see what's in store and what the future has for you. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Have a great day.